Ladies and gentlemen, for the last time, I'm going to go over this. Blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, Latinos, listen up. You are the chosen people. I sound like a broken record because I'm always reiterating this. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the chosen people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are the Israelites. Listen up. When the Bible says, love thy neighbor, it's not talking about love everyone on the planet. Because this has weakened us as a nation. Other nations do unspeakable atrocities against us, and we want to forgive them with loving them. They kill our people up. They kill our brothers and sisters. They kill our sons and daughters and just other ones among our nations. When the other nation do that to us, we quit to forgive. We want to forgive and love. But no more of that, because I'm going to give you the understanding of things going into the Bible. Forgiveness cannot revive a life. Forgiveness cannot resurrect a loved one. So when they kill off your son and they kill off your daughter, whosoever among your kindred, forgiveness is not going to revive them back. It's not going to resurrect them. They're gone. Forgiveness cannot repay for a loved one, a lost one. So when these other nations kill off our people, your forgiveness is not going to bring back your daughter or your son, your mother, your father, your grandfather, your auntie, your uncles, your nieces, your nephews. Forgiveness is not going to do that. So what's left? Eye for eye. Tooth for tooth. And that's what we're about to get into. Understanding this. So let's get into the Bible right now. If you got a King James Bible, go and get that. King James Bible, go and get that. KJV. If you got an NIV, that'll work too. If you got an ESV or any other moderate Bible, let's get into it. So this is Exodus chapter 20. So Exodus chapter 20, guys, follow along. Exodus chapter 20. And in Exodus chapter 20, I'm going to go into Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. It says, thou shalt not kill. That's Exodus 20 and 13. Thou shalt not kill. Now, exactly what is this talking about? It's telling the Israelites, because Moses was an Israelite himself. Moses was from the tribe of Levi. He wasn't a high priest, but he was an Israelite from the tribe of Levi. And Moses was the lawgiver. He was like the legislature of Israel. He gave the law to the Israelites. And what Moses was telling the Israelites in Exodus chapter 20, verse 13, he said, thou shalt not kill. Now, what does that mean? Meaning, as an Israelite man, an Israelite woman, an Israelite child, an Israelite boy, an Israelite girl, just an Israelite in general, you are not to kill your kindred. You're not to murder your kind. So when he said, thou shalt not kill, he's talking about the Israelite nation killing one another. Thou shalt not kill your kindred. Your kinsfolk, your family, your nation. You're not supposed to do that. Because guess what? That's genocide. Killing your own kind. When you ride on your own kind, that's genocide. And it's also showing lack of love for one another. So this is what the Bible also states. Now let's go a little bit further. Exodus 20 and 13 says, thou shalt not kill. Now watch this. This is 1 John chapter 3 verse 14 in the New Testament. 1 John chapter 3 verse 14. This is 1 John, not the Gospel John. 1 John 3 and 14. And it says, we know that we have passed from death into life because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death. That's why Moses was telling you, as the Israelites, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, thou shalt not kill. Kill who? Your fellow Israelite brother, sister. So 1 John chapter 3, verse 15. Well, 1 John chapter 3, verse 14, we'll work down to 15. We know that we have passed from death into life because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brethren abideth in death. So thou shalt not kill. Kill who? Your own kindred. This ain't got nothing to do with the so-called white man. Ain't got nothing to do with the Chinese. Ain't got nothing to do with the Japanese. Ain't got nothing to do with the East Indians. Ain't got nothing to do with the Africans. Ain't got nothing to do with the Italians, the Greeks, and many other nations that are not Israelites. Many other nations that are not Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Don't have nothing to do with them. It's talking about your nation. Thou shalt not kill your kindred, your people. So the next time a white man goes off and kill a black man, you're not to compensate and loving him for your lost one's life. Oh, I forgive you. Think about that, man. He killed my daughter. He killed my son. He murdered my mother. He murdered my father, my grandfather. But I still forgive him. But their life can be retrieved. So we need to get over entering understanding of this. Then it goes on to say in 1 John chapter 3, verse 15. Whosoever hates his brother is a murderer. That's why he tells us, Moses said, thou shalt not kill your people. It can't be talking about everybody, because the Israelites, when you read the Bible, the Israelites killed off many heathen nations and conquered their land and stole their land. The Israelites invaded many heathen nations' territory and took them over and killed them. Read it for yourself, especially when you read the book of Judges. So once again, 1 John chapter 3 and 15. Whosoever hates his brother is a murderer, and you know that no murderer have eternal life abiding in him. 1 John chapter 3 verse 16. Hereby perceive we the love of God, because he laid down his life for us. Now when it says for us, it's talking about the Israelite nation, because Christ died for the Israelite nation only. So when it says us, it's talking about the Israelite nation, us. John was an Israelite, and he's talking from an Israelite perspective. So us is pertaining to the nation of Israel. Christ died for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brethren. Lay down our lives. This is 1 John 3 and 15. I believe. No, 1 John 3 and 16. It says we ought to lay down our life for our brethren. So we ought to lay down our lives for our kindreds, our own nation. Not lay your life down for another damn heathen nation. Not lay your life down for the white man, which are the Edomites. Not lay your life down for the Chinese, which are the Moabites. Don't lay your life down for the Japanese, which are the Ammonites. Don't lay your life down for the Elamites, which are the East Indians. Don't lay your life down for the Javanites, which are the Greeks. Don't lay your life down for the Kittamites, which are the Romans. Don't lay your life down for the Hamites, which are the Africans. Don't lay your life down for the Ishmaelites, which are the Arabs. Don't lay your life down for the Edomites, which are the white men. Don't lay your life down for them. If you're going to lay your life down for your kindred, your own nation of people. And if you're going to kill, do not kill among your own nation. Kill off of other nation that ain't got nothing to do with your people. That's what the Bible is saying. We got to get over entering understanding of this Bible. Because some other nation can come in and kill our people, and we want to pay back that with forgiveness. We got to get understanding, man. Now this is Leviticus 19 and 18. Check this out. Because I don't went over this 1,000 times. Leviticus 19 and 18. In the Old Testament. Leviticus 19 and 18. I'm going to start with Leviticus 19 and 17 and work my way down. Thou shalt not hate your brother in your heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So it's telling you right here in Leviticus 19:17, thou shalt not hate thy brother. That means do not hate your kindred. Do not hate your nation of people. Don't hate your nation of people. The Bible never told you that you can't hate another nation. We thinking that we can't hate another nation. You thinking that you can't hate the white man. You thinking that you can't hate the Chinese man. You thinking that you can't hate the Japanese man. You thinking that you can't hate the Greek man or the Roman man. But you can. We want to treat hate like it's alienated. We want to treat hate like it's some type of foreigner. Like we just unfamiliar with hate. Hate is common to man. Hate is common to mankind. But when the Bible says thou shalt not hate thy brother, and in Leviticus 19:17, it's talking about your own nation of people, your kindred. Don't hate your nation of people. The Bible never tells you that you can't hate another nation outside of your nation, outside of your kindred. And that's what we fail to over-enter and understand. So when it says thou shalt not hate thy brother, a white man can come in and kill off a black man. And we'll go right here to Leviticus 19 and 17 and says, see, the Bible says, do not hate thy brother. The white man is not a brother to us. He ain't even known as a brother. Usually when you say the word brother, that refers to a black man. Like when you say the word sister, that refers to a black woman. You ain't never heard nobody calling no white man a brother. You ain't never heard nobody calling a white woman a sister. When you say brother or sister, that automatically refer to a melanated man and a woman. So when it says thou shalt not hate thy brother, the white man is not your brother. The white man is not your sister. The Japanese, the Chinese, or any other heathen nation out here are not your brothers and your sisters. Your brothers and your sisters are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Why? Because they are among the nation of Israel. That's what it means. Thou shalt not hate thy brother. Don't hate your nation. In your heart. Thou shalt anywise rebuke. What that mean? That means correct. To rebuke means to correct your neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Don't let him continue in sin. Show him what's right. Leviticus 19 and 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against thy people. See that? So don't hold grudges against the children of your people. Don't hold grudges against your nation. Don't hold hate in your heart against your people. It's okay to hold hate in your heart against another nation. I'm going to be the first one to say it, damn it. Because we're told that we can't hate anybody upon this earth. You got a grudge? You got hate in your heart? You got animosity in your heart? That's good, long as it's pointed towards another nation. But the bad part is when you got that same type of animosity, hate, and grudge in your heart towards your own people. That's what's bad. So to hold a grudge, to hold hatred, to hold animosity in your heart towards another nation, it's not wrong. It's not nothing wrong with that. But when you got that animosity and that hatred and those grudges in your heart towards your own nation, that's a major problem. Okay? Leviticus 19 and 18, thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of your people. See that? But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord. Now when it says thou shalt love thy neighbor, that means your neighbor. Who is your neighbor? Your neighbor is not the white man. Your neighbor is not the China man. Your neighbor is not the Asian man. Your neighbor is not the Japanese man. Your neighbor is not the East Indian man, the Arab man, the African man, the Greek man, the Roman man, the Persian man. That's not your neighbor. Your neighbor is your kindred, your nation of people. Love your kindred. Love your nation of people. Your neighbors are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That is your neighbors that you are to love as thyself. Ain't got a damn thing to do with these foreign nations. But you've been misled by these Christian churches because they have failed us again. So when it says thou shalt love thy neighbor, that's not talking about forgiving a white man for killing your loved ones. Hate him to the death. Or any other goddamn nation that's not part of the nation of Israel. Hate them to the death. Hate them to the death. They ain't got shit to do with your people. We don't have no understanding of what's going on. Now, what did Peter say in 1 Peter 2 and 17? And matter of fact, before we go there, if you don't believe me that Exodus 19 and 18, when it says love thy neighbor, is talking about the Israelites, you ain't got to. Watch this. Well, let's skip up. Not Exodus, but Leviticus. Let's go all the way back to Leviticus 19 and verse 2. Leviticus 19 and 2, what it says? It says, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel. So guess who Leviticus the 19th chapter is for? The children of Israel. The whole chapter. If you're not an Israelite, you don't play a part of Leviticus 19 chapter because it's talking to the Israelites. So when it says in Leviticus 19 chapter to love thy neighbor as thyself, to not hate thy brother in thy heart, and to rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. When it says to love thy neighbor as thyself, it says it's talking about the Israelite nation. But they got you feeling awkward. They got you feeling weird. They got you in between now because you thinking you ain't supposed to have a grudge or you ain't supposed to hate the white man. You ain't supposed to hate other nations of people. We just supposed to love everybody on the damn planet. Let me tell you something. Let's see what Peter said. Let's see what Peter said. This is 1 Peter 2 and 17 in the New Testament. 1 Peter 2 and 17. And this is why the white man kill our people over and over and over again. We sit back and we don't do shit about it. These Caucasians, they come in, they have their way, they have a ball game with our people. They lynching us, they raping us, they robbing us, they castrating us. They doing all kind of unspeakable atrocities to our people. Still to this day, the police are killing us and all kind of shit that's going on with blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. White people are still having their way with us and we want to sit back, we want to march, we want to protest, we want to do all this other nonsense, but we don't want to retaliate because we have been deceived, been led to believe that we got to love everybody. This is 1 Peter 2 and 17. Let's see what Peter said. 1 Peter 2 and 17. 1 Peter 2 and 17. And it says, honor all men. Now when it says honor all men, that's not talking about everybody on the planet. That's talking about among the Israelite nation because Peter was a Jew. He was an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. So Peter is saying honor all men in terms of all Israelite men. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. 1 Peter 2 and 17. Honor all men. Love the brotherhood. Love the brotherhood. Peter said love the brotherhood. He didn't tell you to love all nations. He said, love the brotherhood. Who is the brotherhood? The nation of Israel. Who is the sisterhood? The nation of Israel. Love the brotherhood. We too damn busy trying to love everybody. Peter 2 and 17. Love the brotherhood. Fear God. The only ones that can fear God are the Israelites because they was the only one giving the commandments. It says, honor the king. Now watch this. Let's continue on. It's nothing wrong with you to hate another nation. Stop thinking that it's awkward and it's weird to hate all people because it's not. Because ask yourself, do they feel the same way the way you feel? Do the white man feel the same way the way you feel? This chattel slavery. Did the white man feel the same way when chattel slavery was taking place? When he was lynching, raping, robbing your people back in the early, let's say, from the early 1500s, 1600s, 1700s, 1800s and on out. When the white man, they call them the sovereign people. Chattel slavery that was carried out years upon our people. And then next, Jim Crow, sharecropping, and all this type of shit that was carried out on our people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have suffered dearly under the white man, under the white race. So did they feel the same way back then? Did they feel unapologetic when they raped the black woman, when they exploited the black woman, invaded her, tore her down mentally, turned her against her husband, turned the husband against the black woman? Did Willie Lynch feel the same way when he told the light skin that hate the dark skin, and he told the dark skin, he turned the dark skin against the light skin? Did Willie Lynch feel the same way when he was saying, break that old black bitch down? We're going to take the dignity and the pride away from the black man. Did they feel the same way? Did these people feel the same way? Did the English settlers feel the same way when they took advantage of the natives, the conquistadors, the Inquisition, the Spaniards, the British, the French, the Dutch, the Portuguese, the Italian, when they settled over here and they took advantage of the natives? Did they feel the same way? They would take a Native American and they would string him up. They strung him up. And they slowly roasted him over an open fire. Did they feel the same way? When they brought their strange religion, Catholicism, over here to the Native Americans and wanted to convert them as Catholics and killed them off if they didn't convert to Catholicism. Did they feel the same way? When they stole their lands, stole their resources, cut their limbs off, they cut their hands and feet off if they didn't bring them back enough of gold, especially the conquistadors and the Inquisition. The brutalization that was done to the Taino Indians, which are the Ephraimites that the Bible speaks of, the Puerto Ricans. Did they feel the same way when they was doing that? When the British exploited the Jamaicans? When the British killed thousands of Jamaicans, West Indians from the tribe of Benjamin? Did they feel the same way? When the Frenchmen conquered the Haitians and killed thousands of Haitians up, which are the Levites the Bible speaks of, did they feel the same way? When the Englishmen killed a lot of you niggas up, did they feel the same way? I think not. Come on, man. It's not nothing wrong to hate. Just do not hate your own people. Do not hate your own kindred, your own kind. Love the brotherhood. Love the sisterhood. Love your nation. Thou shalt not kill your people, your nation, your kindred. They don't feel the same way about us because they might know this Bible better than you. While your ass keep going to church, thinking you so holy and thinking you so spiritually inclined, thinking you know everything it is to know about this Bible, white folks 2 or 3 steps ahead of you. You talking about love everybody. The white man knows when he opened his book up, it's not talking about love everybody. The white man knows he's not counting in these scriptures. The white man knows he's the enemy that this Bible speaks of. The white man knows he's the devil that this Bible speaks of. But you don't know it. So guess what? You go over there and kiss the devil's horns. Guess what you do? You embrace the devil's tail. He even let you hold his pitchfork for him. And you willing to hold his pitchfork. You don't even realize who the enemy. How in the hell would there be salvation if everybody was considered the same? Because if everybody was considered the same, how in the hell would there be salvation? We shouldn't be saved from anybody if everybody considered the same. It don't make any damn sense, man. I'm sick of these unorthodox Christians, man. These oxymorons that think they know everything about these scriptures and don't know a damn thing. I'm sick of it, man. This is Matthew 22:37. And the gospel. Matthew 22:37. Matthew 22:37 in the gospels. Matthew 22:37, I believe. Jesus said unto them, thou shalt love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. So who is Jesus Christ talking to? When he says, thou shalt love, Jesus said unto them, which is, we call him Yahushua, because Jesus is a Greek name, but we're going to read it verbatim. Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord. Jesus said unto him, when it says him, who is he talking to? So we got to find out who Christ is conversing with, because it said Jesus said unto him. Mark 22:37 says Jesus said unto him. Who is the him? Is the him the white man? Is the him the China man? Is the him the African man? Is him the Japanese man? Is him the East Indian man? Is him the Arab man? Is him the Persian man? Is him the Greek man? Is him the Roman man? Let's see who the him is. So let's back up. Matthew 22. And let's start with Matthew 22:33. And when the multitude heard this, they was astonished at his doctrine. Matthew 22:34. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Oh, so they're talking about the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Matthew 22:35. Then one of them, Pharisees or the Sadducees, one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? So Pharisees and Sadducees, who were they? They was not white people. They was not Edomites. Pharisees and Sadducees were Israelites, Jews, which would be considered the modern day African American man, the modern day African American woman, the modern day black man, black woman, or the modern day Negro man, or Negro woman. That's exactly who the Pharisees and the Sadducees were 2,000 years ago. Black people. Jews. So this is who Christ is conversing with. Not the Edomites, not no white man, or any other nation outside of Israel. Because he didn't come for outside nations. He came for the Israelites only. Now watch this. Matthew 22:37. Jesus said unto him. Now we know who Jesus talking to. Talking to an Israelite man. A black man. Jesus said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. And the reason why he said that, because he was quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. That's what he was quoting. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. So before we go any further with Matthew 22:38, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 5. Because this is exactly what the Messiah was stating. He was quoting. The Deuteronomy 6, verse 5. And it says right here, Deuteronomy 6, verse 5, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. That's what Jesus Christ was quoting. You see, so when you're reading Matthew 22 and 37, Jesus is actually quoting Deuteronomy 6 and 5. He says, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. Where did he get that from? He got that from the Torah. He got that from the commandments of Moses. And who the commandments was given to? The Israelites. So he's just not talking to anybody. When he says, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy might, he's talking to an Israelite man. They understood that. A lot of you niggas just don't today. Because you are unorthodox Christians. All right? Because if you still don't believe me, you can go back to Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, before you go to 5. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4 says, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. Deuteronomy 6 and 4. It says, hear, O Israel. Who are the Israelites? You be the judge. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You want to love everybody because you don't know who the Israelites are today. A lot of you niggas don't know who the Israelites are today. So you've been told to love everybody. Once you find out your nation of people, who they are, you're going to stop loving everybody. Oh, damn, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites. Everybody not an Israelite. Once you find out that, maybe you'll stop forgiving niggas. Maybe you'll stop forgiving these white folks for killing your loved ones up in all these other nations and start really hating them for who they are. It's not nothing wrong with that. But we're not going to continue in ignorance. We're not going to continue with the stupidity. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord. So this is concerning the Israelites. Now, when you go back to Matthew 22nd chapter, when you go back to Matthew 22nd chapter, verse 37, Jesus said unto them, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. He got that from Deuteronomy 6 and 5. Then it goes on to say in Matthew 22, 38, this is the first and great commandment. Then he goes on to say in Matthew 22 and 39, and the second is like unto it, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, is Jesus Christ, who we know as Yahushua, is he talking to all nations, or this is inside thing? Is this international, or is this domestic? This is a domestic conversation between Christ and a Pharisee, right? Christ is conversing with the Pharisees and the Sadducees, which are people of his own nation, which are all Jews. And what he said, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. He's not talking about all nations. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Who is thy neighbor? Who's the neighbor of the Pharisees? Who's the neighbor of the Sadducees? The Israelites, because they are their kindred. They are their people. Love your neighbor. There's nothing wrong with you to hate